Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. Today we're going to look at Jack McBain and heading to arbitration. Sunday evening, it was found out that Utah Mammoth decided to file for arbitration with Jack McBain. There's some positives to that, there's some negatives to that. One of the big positives is it prevents an offer sheet from another team. So in all likelihood, McBain's going to stick with the Mammoth, but for how long? And we got to talk about the type of player McBain is and sort of a, concerning history with McBain and sort of some red flags, to call it objectively, with his history and signing contracts with NHL teams. We'll go with who the player is. 25 years old. He's a 6'4", 219-pound centerman, pure Bill Armstrong type of player. In fact, he looks like Bill Armstrong when Bill Armstrong was playing hockey back in the day. He is, like I said, 25. He turns into an unrestricted free agent in 2027. So he's got 2 more years to become an unrestricted free agent, which means he could sign with whatever team he wants. He's not sort of handcuffed. I know that's kind of a negative term, by Utah and Bill Armstrong. The past 3 years, these are 3 full years in his NHL career. Nothing jumps off the page offensively with McBain. He's not an offensive dynamo. He's not that type of driving offensive player. He is a depth role player who hits a lot, plays good defense, plays on the PK, and a type of player you need in the playoffs. I cannot wait to see how Jack McBain and Lawson Crouse play in the playoffs. I think they're built for the playoffs, which is why, in the regular season, especially McBain, you don't see some high offensive numbers. I think his ceiling is probably a 20-goal player, third-line centerman, and I guess we'll just jump to refusing to sign with Minnesota out of college. He said to the Minnesota Wild, I don't want to play for you. I'm not going to sign for you. He had concerns that the Minnesota Wild center depth was too much for him. He wasn't going to get enough ice time. So then Minnesota trades McBain to the Coyotes for a second-round pick. Obviously, the Coyotes in the middle of a rebuild had a whole runway open for center depth. So he signed with the Coyotes in hopes that he'd become a second or first-line center, which he thinks he could have been. So he plays 2 years with Arizona, and then once a contract is up, he files for arbitration. He wanted 1 year, $2.25 million, which was after this season. And the Coyotes, Bill Armstrong, wanted 2 years, $1.2 million. So they settled on the day of arbitration. It went that long 2 years ago. They settled the day of the hearing, right before the meeting. The team and McBain's camp settled on 2 years, $1.6 million. So 1.6 is a number he's coming off of and is the most recent contract you're going to compare to for his upcoming contract that he's currently dealing with. So these are sort of red flags for McBain. It's never been easy and it raises some concerns. I think McBain has been betting on himself pretty much his whole NHL career, thinking he's going to explode, he's going to blow up and become this top 6 centerman, which I don't think he's going to be. I think he just needs to realize a fact. He's a role-playing centerman, third or fourth line, which is great. Like, the NHL needs it. This team needs it. And I guess with him, he's looking at, I can't catch Cooley. I can't catch Barrett Hayden. Like, Barrett Hayden's got that sneaky offensive skill that sort of McBain doesn't have. And now they drafted Caleb Desnoyers. So he needs to realize his future with Utah is a third or fourth line centerman. Is he going to be happy with that? I don't think so, based on my unbiased opinion, but I really do want McBain on this team for a long time. I had a dream Friday night that he signed an 8-year, $4 million deal, and I thought it was real. Like, the dream was vivid, it was visceral. I remember reading it on Twitter, making a video, responding to comments, and then even the day after I woke up, like the first half hour, I thought that was real, and then I'm like, oh, he still didn't sign, and that was just a dream. So McBain, like I said, a 15, 20 goal scorer is probably his ceiling. He led the team in hits by 100 hits. It was like a clear number one McBain was for hits on Utah. He's a fighter. He fights a lot. He usually wins his fights. This guy's like, everyone loves him. He's a fan favorite. Just there's these little things when contracts come that he demands more than probably what is given. And when they go to an arbitrator, like that's a neutral third party person who just is going to look at stats, his role with the team. They're going to look at McBain's stats and be like, why are you demanding, I don't know what he's demanding, probably 2.5 to 3, maybe over $3 million. The arbitrator's going to be like, looking at comparables, like you're not really looking to get that. Sure, you lead the team in hits. You're a big PK guy. He plays about 1.5 minutes per game on the PK. Doesn't play on the power plays. A sort of third line, checking, shutdown line position. So I really don't think the arbitrator is going to award McBain. I think he and his agent should know that as well. I really think this is the time for McBain to lock up his money, because if he keeps going for the short-term contracts, which has been going on for about 4 years now, once he hits UFA in 2027, I don't see a team offering him $4 or $5 million. I think he needs to stick with Utah. Bill Armstrong loves him. I think he should really lock up his money right now, like secure longer than a bridge deal with Utah, like 5 to 7 years, around $3 million. If I'm McBain, I would jump at that in a heartbeat, because I think that's where he's going to make most of his money in his career, is the next 2 years or so. Some other interesting stats for McBain: he's third on the team in terms of forwards blocking shots. He's 9th in points per 60 minutes. He actually leads the team in on-ice goal percentage at 57.5%. On-ice goal percentage is when McBain is on the ice, the team of Utah, their goal percentage compared to the opposition is higher. So at 57.5%, the other team is only 43.5% when McBain's on the ice in terms of scoring goals. That's not to say McBain's and his line mates are like amazing goal scorers, because his possession and shot attempt analytics like Corsi and Fenwick, McBain's is like at the bottom of the list on the team. So for me, and he has the second highest shooting percentage, so maybe that has something to do with his goals percentage, on-ice goals percentage being so high. It seems like he plays a checking role. He's usually played against tough opposition who likes to control the puck in the defensive zone. But due to McBain and his line mates being defensively minded, due to great goaltending, the other team isn't scoring, but they are getting shots and possession. So that's why those possession numbers are low. But McBain and his line mates, when they do get a shot on net, his shooting percentage is really high. Like I said, almost 14%. The puck's going in the net. So that's skewing that on-ice goals percentage analytic number as well. Like I said, 2 more years to UFA, and because Utah was the party that elected for arbitration, it wasn't McBain. So McBain's camp has the autonomy to choose whether it's a 1-year or 2-year deal when they get to arbitration. And like I said, Bill Armstrong hasn't been in arbitration yet in his early GM career. Like I said, the day of arbitration 2 years ago, he made a contract with McBain, and that wasn't the first time it happened. He did the same with Lawson Krause. The day of the meeting, before they get to the meeting, Bill Armstrong said, you know what? I'm going to give you a 5-year, $4.3 million deal. Lawson Krause and his team accepted it, and they avoided arbitration. So Bill Armstrong's never been arbitration. It's a bit of a tricky situation arbitration is. Like, it could tarnish relationships, because a player has to come into the meeting, prove their case that they deserve a higher salary, and then the team has to prove their case that the player they like deserves a lower salary, and like sort of minimize the player's impact on the team to get a lower salary. So thankfully it hasn't happened yet under Bill Armstrong, and I hope it doesn't with McBain. I really hope they nail down a contract, and just I really do want McBain on this team for a long time. But to be unbiased, like, these are red flags. They're a bit concerning. I don't know what McBain, maybe it's his camp. Maybe someone's in his ear like, oh, you should deserve more money. It's like, yeah, he fights, he hits, he's defensively minded, plays on the PK. The goals aren't there, the offense isn't there. What do you pay a guy like that? Like Stenlund, Kevin Stenlund makes $2 million. Kerfoot makes $3 million. Like McBain's going to fall into those categories, even though those two players are older than him. That's going to be his future in the NHL, which is fine. He should like realize that. People need to talk to him and be like, hey, I think you're a third line center in the NHL. You should, like, the highest third line centers get is like 5 max. And that's if you're good at offense and the offense isn't there, so you're going to drop. Maybe you're a $3 million player, which I think is fair. I think a perfect contract would be 5 years by $3 million for McBain. Like I said, he's a playoff type player. He's gritty, sort of that Sam. I know there's a pretty big comparison considering Bennett just won the Conn Smythe, but he's sort of like that player if he could unlock that offensive side of him and maybe playing with more better players. Like I said in a previous video, maybe a Krause, McBain, Tanev line would produce more and get his points up. But I love McBain. Hope he stays with the team. This is a tricky situation. Arbitration is a very difficult topic in hockey in terms of like understanding it. There's so much minutia around it, but I think for fans, new fans, just as long as they avoid arbitration, that's a best case scenario. And I think we all want McBain locked up longer than shorter, because McBain and his camp could select, I want 2 years, whatever money you give me, and then I'm a UFA and I walk. And I don't want McBain to walk. Like, he fits the mold of this team perfectly. And he's great friends with Gunther. They're roommates. He's a great guy to have. And I really do hope someone comes to their senses and says, you should take this deal that Bill Armstrong is offering you. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.